Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So let's get right to the point. Fall is my favorite season. I love it so much. I love wearing fall clothes. I love fall colors. I love fall drinks. I love fall food. I love everything about fall. So I like to switch up my makeup in the fall as well. And as you can probably tell, because this is not a look that I usually would come on camera wearing recently, so now that the weather is finally starting to change down here and it's not a gazillion degrees every day, I'm starting to get more in the fall spirit. So what I wanted to do today was share with you a couple of my favorite fall lip colors and cheek colors because I feel like those are the things that I switch up more. I feel like I also do switch up eyeshadow though, so if you're interested in seeing some fall eyeshadow palettes, let me know. I have a bunch because again, I love fall. So today I want to focus on lip and cheek colors though. So without any further rambling about my obsession with fall, let's get into the lip and cheek colors that I picked out to show you guys. I'm actually going to start with lip colors mainly because I want to talk about what I have on my lips today because I love it so much. If you've been around on this channel several times before, you may have heard me talk about this, but I refuse to shut up. This is the Milani Color Fetish lipstick. This is in the matte formula, and this shade is the shade 440 Passion. And I love this shade so much. I'm sorry, I keep looking at my lips in the viewfinder. I just absolutely love this color. I feel like it is such a unique shade of lipstick. I feel like I don't really have any other color that's quite like this. It's sort of like a muted mauvey brownie red. It's like a red without fully committing to be a red. It's like a red for the fall because I view in my mind like cherry red as like a winter shade. This feels like a fall red, if that makes sense. Like this and like orangey red feel like fall red. So this is what Passion looks like. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. And this is like $9.99, I think. And the formula is amazing. I've waxed poetic about this lipstick formula before. It is super long lasting, even though it's a really creamy, comfortable bullet lipstick formula. I feel like this is a better matte lipstick formula than like the Charlotte Tilbury matte lipsticks. This is what I always compare those to, and I think there's really no comparison. This stays on better. It's more comfortable, at least to me. Highly recommend. So, especially if you're looking for a fall color, Passion, this is the one. Next, I want to go ahead and just bite the bullet and talk about MAC. I really love MAC lipsticks. I've said this before. I don't really feel like they're worth the full price, but when you can get them at like TJ Maxx or on sale during 21 Days of Beauty, they are really, really nice. And I feel like they just come out with really unique colors that I don't really see in a lot of other lines. So I picked out 3 from my collection to talk about today. One of them is my all-time favorite MAC lip color, and I don't exclusively wear this in the fall by any stretch because I literally wear it all the time, but I feel like it fits in the fall really well. This is the shade Creme in Your Coffee. It is just this really gorgeous, like, rosy brown. I absolutely love this color. I'm gonna swatch it for you. It's the shinier formula, and I actually really like that. It's kind of glossy, so that's what that shade looks like. Doesn't that just give fall? Honestly, it's like a muted version of this. It's like slightly less red than Passion. Maybe I have a type of lipstick. I don't know. Anyway, so that is Creme in Your Coffee. It's gorgeous. The next shade is Chili, which is a recent acquisition of mine. I've been pining for it for a while. I knew I wanted this color, and I finally found it at TJ Maxx not that long ago. It is a gorgeous orangey red. I love this kind of color for the fall as well. It pulls pretty red, but it's definitely got an orange undertone. I feel like you'd be able to see it a little bit better if I had it next to like a true red, but it's pretty orange. And finally, last but certainly not least, I have the shade Whirl, which is more of like a true chocolatey brown, but it's got a little bit of warmth to it, and I love this color. It's really rich. It's got a little bit of pink in it. It's like Creme in Your Coffee, but like more. So it's like a true rich brown. All of these in the fall I'm obsessed with. Will be wearing them all season long. Highly recommend if you can get your hands on any of them. Not full price. I don't think you should pay full price for them because they're good, but it's not like that. Honorable mention, by the way, to a shade that I feel like is fairly similar to Chili, but a little bit more of like a rusty orange. ColourPop's Luxe lipstick in the shade Foolish. I looked for it everywhere before I started filming and I cannot find it, but that is a really beautiful like rusty orange if you want something that's a little bit more orange and a little less red than chili. So those are my MAC picks. Absolutely love. If you can find them at Marshall's or TJ Maxx or wherever, highly recommend. I have a couple of lipsticks from Maybelline I want to talk about. Again, really great affordable formulas. I swear by these 100%. But the shades I want to talk about specifically are, first of all, this matte lipstick, the matte bullet lipstick line. This is the shade Raw Chocolate. It's just such a nice, like, wearable, warm, orangey toned brown. I mean, I wear this kind of thing all the time. That's like my go-to lipstick shade. But in the fall, I feel like this becomes even more approachable for a lot of people who don't necessarily wear that kind of thing all the time. Like, I would wear this year round, but I feel like in the fall, it's especially nice. So love that one. And then I also feel like I start going toward more matte and long-lasting lip colors as we get into the fall and winter months. I don't really know why. I feel like I just kind of gravitate more towards those. I'm like a glossy, dewy girl in the spring and summer, and then a little bit more matte and, you know, polished in the winter and fall. I don't know. I don't have a reason for that. But I love the SuperStay Matte Ink liquid lipstick formula, and the shade Seductress, I feel like, again, is just a really, really beautiful, warm nude. They describe this as like a grayish rose, and I feel like that's true. I can definitely get the grayish vibe from it, and I feel like that makes it really fun for the fall, so that's what that one looks like. You know, I never really think of Seductress as being particularly cool toned, but when you put it next to Raw Chocolate, I do kind of see it. Can you tell that I have a type of lipstick? I am so basic, I swear to God. As you can see, my favorite season is fall. Everything I buy is fall tones. Everything I wear is fall tones. I really love fall, okay? So from Maybelline, the matte lipstick in Raw Chocolate and the SuperStay in Seductress, bangers for the fall. While we're on the drugstore, let me just jump in and tell you about this lipstick from Revlon. This is also a matte bullet lipstick. I have been on a matte kick, like I said. And this is the Super Lustrous matte line in the shade Shameless. I've been told that this is a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk Medium, but again, that's not my favorite matte lipstick formula. I do like this one though. This is a really beautiful color. It is like almost a berry, but it's got a little more brown to it. It's really gorgeous. It reminds me a little bit of like a more matte, more pigmented version of Creme in your coffee, honestly. Like I said, I'm fairly predictable. I kind of have a type of lipstick shade. So I really like this one as well. I would highly recommend it. And honestly, I would pick up more from this line because it's a solid matte formula. And they're not expensive. So, you know, if you're looking for a matte formula, this one's pretty good. And the Maybelline one and the Milani one. And last but certainly not least, in terms of my fall lipstick picks, I want to talk about this beautiful formula and this beautiful shade from M Cosmetics. So everything I've ever tried from M Cosmetics is a banger. I absolutely love everything she makes. And this is the Infinite Lip Cloud in the shade Morning Mocha. This is a really great liquid lipstick formula because it's super lightweight, super comfortable, super like moussey and soft. So it's a little less transfer proof than the average liquid lip, but I don't really mind that. It's still pretty long lasting, and just the comfort level you get out of it is so nice. So this is what the shade looks like. Again, just a really pretty warm brown nude. And especially with like a darker brown or like an orangey lip liner, this is so beautiful in the fall. And again, I prefer stuff with a little more lasting power. I just kind of do. So this absolutely great for that. And it won't dry out your lips, which my lips tend to get super dry in the fall and winter time. So this doesn't do that for me. So highly recommend these as well. They have a bunch more shades, but this is the one that I like the best. Moving right along to cheek products, let's get right into it. As I'm sure you're aware from literally any video of mine ever, I am more of a cream cheek girl than a powder cheek girl. That's just what I've been into. And for some reason, I gravitate even harder to the cream cheeks in the wintertime, in the fall. So here we are. I have almost exclusively cream cheeks, but I'll talk about a couple of powder ones as well. So let me start with that. The first thing I want to talk about is this beautiful powder blush from Laura Mercier. This is the blush color infusion in the shade Fresco. Oh, it has a little crack in it. Okay, I don't want it to fall out of the pan. Okay. It's an absolutely beautiful nudie brown color. So pretty. And I don't know if you can really see it, but it's got little like silver sparkles in it. but it doesn't show up sparkly on the cheeks. That's one thing that kind of worried me when I first picked this up. I opened it and I went, oh, that's gonna be sparkly. And it's actually not. It just has a really pretty like shimmer, like a little bit of a gleam, but I don't notice sparkle particles on my cheeks, which is really nice. This formula is absolutely beautiful. You just swipe it on and it looks stunning. It's so soft and so blendable. These are very expensive. I got mine at, I want to say Marshall's for I think $10. But I haven't seen that many shades of these floating around. So if you find one, highly recommend you grab it, especially if it's the shade Fresco. So it's a really soft formula, but that's kind of how it goes on initial application. You can see it's got that kind of soft shimmer to it a little bit. Let me build it up a little bit so you can see it a little more. Because they do build, but it doesn't go on the cheeks immediately like balls to the wall, crazy pigmented. So that's it built up a little bit better. And you can see that little bit of a gleam, but no glitter, right? I love that blush, super pretty. And as far as powder blushes go, that's one I'll absolutely be pulling for. And on the subject of powder blushes that I'll absolutely be pulling for, frankly, for me, this one's not even fall specific. I feel like I like it the best in the fall, but this is my favorite powder blush in my whole collection. Has yet to be dethroned, hands down, the best one, and the shade has a lot to do with that. This is the Buxom Primer Infused Blush in the shade Seychelles. I love this so much, and it looks very unassuming. It's like, oh yeah, it's just like a nudie pink blush. No. It is the most beautiful brown nude with the perfect amount of shimmer, no glitter, nothing like that. It's just, oh my god, it's so blendable, so dreamy. Look at the shimmer. I just love this. I love this too much. The shimmer looks intense, but when you blend it out on your cheeks, it just looks like this natural glow that's just so nice. Oh my god. I will never shut up about Seychelles for as long as I live. It's getting harder and harder to find. I feel like I need to buy a backup before they get rid of it completely because I can feel it coming. And I would 100% buy backup for this because I'm going to use it up. I love it way too much. And I think it's absolutely perfect for fall. So I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my absolute love powder blush, Seychelles. And finally, for powders, this is also kind of cheating because it's also a cream. No, I refuse to shut up about the Patrick Ta blush duos. And of course, the perfect fall shade, at least in my opinion, is She's So LA. This is so just like beautiful, warm fall vibes for me. Of course, you do have the powder blush, which is a really beautiful, like, it's as close to a true brown as I've ever had in a blush, I feel like. The powder shade specifically. I'm building it up pretty heavy so that you can really get a good idea of the color. That is pretty much as close to a true brown as I've ever had, but something about the way that it goes on the cheeks still just looks like this flush of like some combination of I was just out in the cold and I was just out in the sun, which for Texas fall is pretty perfect because we rapid cycle between it's freezing and it's blazing hot. So love that. And then the cream is so beautiful as well. I actually like this cream formula a little bit better than the cream formula in the newer colors of this line because this one is just a little bit more, it's like a balmy kind of texture and it's a little less pigmented. So the way that he recommends using these is to put the cream on top of the powder. And I feel like with this formulation of the cream, that works beautifully because you can really kind of build up the powder a little bit and then just kind of top it off with the cream to make it look a little bit dewier and just make you look a little more alive. So there's the cream there. Absolutely stunning. They complement each other beautifully, but they're not quite identical, which I also like because you can wear them separately as well. So yeah, you know, if you come to a blush video that I'm making, I'm gonna talk about the Patrick Ta duos because they are absolutely perfect. And honestly, I'd really like to pick up another shade this fall. Maybe during the Sephora sale. Stay tuned. Okay, moving on to my favorite thing, cream blushes, just creams. So the first one I want to talk about is the Tower 28 Beach Please blush. And this is in the shade Power Hour. And this looks very intimidating when you first look at it, for sure. And it is very pigmented, and a little does go a very long way. However, it is just the most beautiful, like rich, like really rich terracotta. I have to blend it out like a good amount, otherwise it's gonna look super scary, and I promise it's not. This, I even feel like, is a little bit less, there, see? Look how approachable that becomes. I feel like this is even a little bit less like dewy creamy than some of the other shades. Like I also have Magic Hour and that one is very dewy creamy. This one I feel like almost dries to like more of a matte finish, which again is kind of something that I prefer in the fall and winter months. So this is perfect in that way. I do want to give you a quick little drugstore comparison though. I have been absolutely loving this JCat Blush-Mallow in the shade Thank You Very Much. And it's not spot on, but I do think they're pretty similar. The formulas are kind of different. Wow, I just lied to you straight to your face. They're not that similar. So actually, completely separate recommendation. The JCat Blush-Mallow and Thank You Very Much. Absolutely beautiful. This more orangey one is the JCat, and then this more brownie one is the Tower 28. So actually not that similar at all. The formulas are different and the colors are different, but both are so great. So I recommend both of them. And these are like $5, I think, full price. I got mine for like $3.50. So these are awesome. And it does also have a little bit of that like matte powdery finish, which, you know, that's a plus in my book at this time of year. Next, let me show you a newer addition to my collection that may be just a little more approachable for the pale girlies. I don't back down from a challenge. I love bright red blush. I love dark brown blush. I love all that stuff. But if you're pale and you're a little scared by some of the colors I'm showing you right now, this is the Persona Blush Multi-Stick in the shade Teddy. I picked this up during 21 Days of Beauty. I've been pining over it for a while, and it really is beautiful. This, oh my gosh, it's like a peachy brown, and it's a little bit lighter. This is a full opacity. I just swiped that onto my hand. That's full opacity. So you can obviously blend this out, and it blends absolutely beautifully and just gives you a little bit of that nude brown flush. I think it's gorgeous. Honestly, on some people, this could almost be a bronzer shade. Obviously, I like this as a blush, but realistically speaking, on some people, if you're a little cooler toned, that would work as a bronzer as well. So, you know, it's also multi-use. The formula is beautiful. Persona makes beautiful things. And yeah, Teddy is a gorgeous shade, especially if you like the warm, nudie tones and you are pretty pale. One that I have been absolutely loving, and I feel like this will transition well into winter. This is the Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Storm. There's something about this that is just the perfect, like, warm rose kind of color that looks like flushed cheeks, and I'm obsessed with this. A little goes a very long way, so just letting you know. The Cloud Paint line has some shades that are a little bit paler, girl-friendly. This one you do have to tread with caution. But when you apply just the right amount, it's just this beautiful, natural flush color. Going into winter, this is going to be big for me, I feel like, because I do love cold girl makeup. I know we had that trend. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. I don't know. The trends confuse me, but I am into that pretty much year round. I just call it sunburnt girl makeup in the summer, and then in the winter, it's cold girl makeup. So this is absolutely perfect for that flushed cold look. So I love this one. It's a really thin, comfortable formula, so you won't feel like you're piling makeup on your face. Stunning formula, stunning color. I am considering picking up another Cloud Paint from Sephora sale this year. So again, stay tuned to find out how much blush Maddie buys at this year's Sephora sale. I feel like I haven't really given you a true drugstore pick from the blushes yet. I mean, I talked about the JCat one. It was supposed to be a comparison. But another really great drugstore pick, the e.l.f. Putty Blush, specifically in the shade Bali. Again, if you're into like something a little bolder, something a little terracotta goodness. Honestly, this is probably more comparable to Tower 28 Power Hour. So that is Bali. Really gorgeous terracotta orangey shade, which again in the fall for me is my bread and butter. Absolutely gorgeous. The formula also is kind of that cream to matte powder type of formula. So I feel like, again, if you prefer something a little more matte and bulletproof, this will do well in that regard. But if you like glow, they put out the luminous putty blush line, and I still need to try that. I have my eye specifically on a shade that reminds me a lot of Bali, but the shimmery version. So I'd really like to give that a try. I'll keep you posted. And last but certainly not least, never least, is my beloved Fenty Beauty Cream Blush. This is the Cheeks Out Cream Blush in the shade Rosé Latte. I feel like this was made for fall. As you can see, she is very well loved. This is a gorgeous blush shade. Again, this is not going to surprise you. It is that beautiful, warm, rosy brown, almost terracotta. This one's a little bit more pink than orange in my opinion compared to some of the ones that lean more orange, but it definitely has that warm terracotta undertone. So pretty. I love the Fenty formula. I've waxed poetic about the Fenty formula before, so I'm gonna not go off about it, but it is really beautiful, and I feel like for the price, you do get a reasonable amount, and a little bit goes a very long way. Also, just some of the fun shades she comes up with. I feel like these are amazing, but Rosé Latte is my go-to fall shade. In the summertime, Daiquiri Dip, the red one, whew. I mean, I would wear that in the winter and fall too, but you know, if you're trying to get into the spirit, into the pumpkin spice and cinnamon and all that goodness like I am, Rosé Latte is the one I would go for. So those are all of my lipstick and blush shade recommendations for the fall. I say all of them, but honestly, I probably could have pulled double that many. Those are just the ones that I really thought you guys should know about. So if you like this video or you got something out of it, please leave a like down below. Let me know in a comment what your favorite lip and cheek shades for the fall time are, and let me know if you'd be interested in seeing a video about my favorite fall eyeshadow palettes, because I feel like I definitely switch up my eyeshadow for the fall as well. If you want to see more from me, if you want to see any of those future videos, please hit subscribe down below. I would absolutely love to have you. And until the next one, bye you guys.